Shanti part is, somebody can tell the page number?
23. 23.
So I think that we had, okay, let's chant first the opening prayer now. Om Sahna Vavatu Sahno Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So what we'll do is we'll chant this Shanti part every time now. It's a little bit different, but once we get the hang of it, we'll be able to do it. Om Vang me manasi pratishtita, mano me vachi pratishtitam, aviravirma edhi, vedasyama anisthaha, shrutam me ma prahasihi, anenadhitena horatran sandadhami. ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मा भवतु तद्वक्तारम् अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ओम शांति शांति शांति. दिस पार्ट अभी सबको याद हो गया होगा. ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि. You know, all these things, yeah. So I think I was at a point that I was explaining. I had done the words, and then I think Om के बारे में मैंने बता दिया था, right? Let me see where we were. Yeah, Om के बारे में बताया था. Then remember, हर एक चीज Om से शुरू होती है. And then Om is like the symbol of Bhagwan. We are addressing Bhagwan. हमको उनको बुला रहे हैं. उनका ध्यान हमारी तरफ आकर्षित कर रहे हैं. You know, like Nikhilanand ji was saying, कि when you say Om, Bhagwan बोलते हैं, क्या problem है तुमको? Getting his attention. That was a joke, but anyway. Bhagwan is everywhere. So when you do call him, he's listening. Okay. So then the next part was Mano me vachi pratishtitam. Manasi, Vang me manasi pratishtita, mano me vachi pratishthitam. This is kind of interesting. So, the word translation is, may my speech be rooted in my mind. And the next one says, and my mind be rooted in the speech. So, sunne mein lagta hai, what are they saying? But it has a very deep meaning. So, remember, this whole peace invocation is a section by itself. So obviously they want us to really deeply think about it before we go into actual verses. They're, just kind of revise everything, because the people who are having this conversation about Brahman and all that, they already were very good in their subject intellectually. So we have to, by discussing all these things, all these concepts have to be a little more clear. So we have to revise all these things so that we are ready for it. So what does this mean, these two sentences? What it means is that I should, whatever is in my conviction, whatever is in my mind, that's what I should speak. ये नहीं कि मन में कुछ और बोल कुछ और रहे. See what I'm saying? ऐसा कई लोग करते हैं ना. A very simple example, like somebody comes to your house and you are saying, smiling and are saying, अंदर से बोला क्यों आ गया ये यहाँ पे? That's wrong according to Veda. Okay, so it's firstly you should have a good things in your mind, and then that should come out of your mouth. It should be tuned perfectly. Without that, you cannot progress in spirituality. That's the first thing you need to do. And that's why Arjun's name it comes from Arjavam. Arjavam is a quality that we'll be discussing, I think, in chapter 12 or one of those chapter 13 when he's talking about different qualities. Arjavam means straight. Everything is like aligned. Your mind, body, intellect, speech, everything in one unison. Then you are ready. You're a proper instrument. That's what it means. So, Nikhilanand was explaining a little more that no disharmony should be there in all that, Vani and mind. And what, if we analyze it, Vani is the organ of action, right? And mind is internal organ. So that's the difference. So mind also represents our intellect. We call it antakaran. When they say mind over here, they mean mind and intellect together. Okay. So the seeker has to have an integrated personality, very well tuned, and the way he explained that this is Adhar of dharma, and you will connect to this once I give you the example. That whatever I speak should be from my heart, truth, and that's why later on when he says Satyam Vadeshami, Ritam Vadeshami, Satyam Vadeshami, the Satyam also is part of this only. So he was saying it should not be merely a lip service, कुछ भी बोल दिया, that खाली बोलते ना खाली बातें बनाता है. Sometimes we say in Hindi, काम धाम कुछ करता नहीं, बातें बनाता है. That's what it means. Just keep talking and it doesn't match neither his speech nor his action. That also comes under this tuning and all that. So, and the other way of looking at it is that whatever I'm feeling, my conviction, from that perspective I'm talking, and not just some made up thing, So that's called speech being rooted in the mind. And then not superficial level and all that. Whatever I'm saying is touching my deepest core in me. That's what it means. And then he was saying that if you don't do this, then that means that both are not connected. There is a lot of disconnect. Not harmony is not there. I think main word is harmony, because mind and speech are connected, but you are so kind of divided in your mind. Your intellect may be saying one thing, your mind is saying another thing, your indriyas are saying something, speech is saying something else. That's how it is saying. So why it is important? Because when the speech and mind are together tuned, that's where we call the pure mind. Purity is expressed like that, So, and he was just saying that basically mind is more subtler. So sometimes, the speech, we should have a control over our speech also, and some people don't have even that, he was saying. That's even worse, So because your intellect is not grabbing your mind and your mind is not grabbing the speech, so that's why people just say kuch ant bol dete and all that. So a little bit of meditation we have to do on these kind of subjects. And then he was just saying that that I already did. Yeah, one interesting thing he's saying, in today's world, that people हर एक चीज में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट चाहिए सभी को. Why? Because people's speech doesn't have that much value. कि बोलते ना कि कुछ बोला किसी ने, ओ लिख के दो, फिर उसमें साइन करवाओ, फिर उसके ऊपर लॉयर चाहिए वगैरह वगैरह, बिकॉज मालूम है आधे टाइम तो वो करेगा ही नहीं. Then you have to bring all those papers. So saying this कलयुग में जो ये सारे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं ना, वो इसके लिए कि because speech is not integrated with mind. I never thought about it, but that's true. फटाफट we need everything में contract होता है, right? And he was just saying that how in the olden days, vachan was everything. And that's why when the word रामायण की स्टोरी में दशरथ जी ने वचन उसको दिया, right? खाली दशरथ जी को और उसको ही मालूम था, उन्होंने रिवील किया. और दशरथ जी ने बोला नहीं कि he said, दशरथ जी could have said मैं तो बोला ही नहीं था, सारा कहानी खत्म हो जाती. He didn't do that. And we know that हमको बचपन से ही वो वाली बात पढ़ाई गई है, I think. क्या है वो, रघुकुल रीत सदा चली आई, प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए. Because it's आधार of dharma, he was saying. That's why they are saying this to us. This is very interesting. And then the other thing which he said, which was kind of interesting, because we are doing Bhagavad Gita, that this particular part of the verse over here of this peace invocation also tells us that whatever we are saying, our action should match that too. Because it's possible that some people, they say one thing and they do another thing, then there is no value in that unki personality mein. Like if somebody is saying, oh, I'm very spiritual or this or that, are there actions showing that they are that? You can go to the mandir 100 times and all that and come back and do all kind of atrocious stuff. Actions are not showing. So action has to show. And in Bhagavad Gita, when Bhagwan talked about Chitta Pragna Lakshana, when Arjuna said, hey, the Chitta Pragna means the one who is established in that knowledge of Brahman. How does he walk, talk, and how does he interact with the world? He was talking more about his action. Because by action, you can trace their personality backwards. If their actions are like that, they have an integrated personality, because they see oneness everywhere and all that. So I think that was a very interesting thing he said. Okay, so I did all that, and then other part is what Vedasta. Vedasya ma anisthaha. What is the... yeah. So he's saying that may I master the Vedas. So Vedas, they are talking about obviously Brahma Gyan. So this is a prayer they are doing, that whatever they are saying in the Vedas, that I should get all that knowledge. That's the prayer. Because sometimes you read a book from beginning to end and nothing goes into your head. But here he's praying that you do this. And then, wait, I forgot one more important one before. Manome vachi pratishtha avirma edhi. Yes, sorry. So this avirma edhi means that Brahman revealed this to me. He's as though commanding the Brahman, okay, that reveal yourself to me, because there are many things in this. We know that we have read in Bhagavad Gita also, in other Upanishads also, that you can do up to a certain point, you can do sadhana. After that, it's up to the Brahman if he wants to reveal himself. Like you can knock at the door, but whether the door is open or not, Bhagwan decides that, whether you are qualified or not. So here the prayer is, firstly, he praying that my mind, my speech, my action, all should be in one line. That means I have purified myself completely. And now I'm demanding, so please darwaza khol do, like reveal yourself to me. That's what it's saying, okay? So the question is, it says Brahman, reveal yourself to me. So what is Brahman? Upanishad only tell us what is Brahman, but we have done it, so we can revise it a little bit. That Brahman is that what the Upanishads tell us, that it cannot be seen, touched, felt, smelt, anything, comprehended by mind also. Achintya, it cannot be. But does it mean that it doesn't exist or it's not there? And we saw in Taittiriya Upanishad there was all those kind of questions. No, all it means is that my mind, senses, and my intellect, they are not the right instrument. They are limited. They cannot grasp Brahman. So with the help of these faculties, we cannot grasp, but just with the help of the Upanishad we can do it, because it will tells us the path how to do it. And then he went a little bit into detail. We won't go into all that detail, but I'll give you the glimpse of it, that in the worldly knowledge, we look for evidence. Like the science wale bahut का फेवरेट वर्ड है ये, एविडेंस बेस्ड साइंस. उसके बिना वो लोग मानेंगे ही नहीं, कंप्लीटली जो लॉजिकल होते हैं. सो एविडेंस में क्या आता है? एक तो होता है प्रत्यक्ष. हे, it's I'm seeing it, it has to be true. Sometimes I'm going to say that even that is not true, because if you see the sun going down in the ocean, it doesn't mean it's going down in the ocean, right? It's not. So just take it with a grain of salt. But basically, okay, my senses can grasp it, then that's a praman. Sometimes there could be, they call it anuman. One is pratyaksh, one is anuman. Anuman is inferring something. Like you see smoke in the far away. Then you know there is a fire, because smoke cannot come without fire. So you do more investigation, you will see the fire. So that's another way of understanding the knowledge. Third one is by comparison, they say. That okay, you show some kid a cow, brown cow. Next time the white cow is there and they say, oh yeah, this is cow, I can recognize it because its shape is same. So like that comparison. And the next one is cause and effect. Somebody tells you cause and how do you explain cause and effect? I woke up in the morning and all the roads are wet. Immediately what we will say? Rained. If it's a little area where maybe somebody's sprinkler, everything is wet, rain. So that's cause and effect. And the last one is, hey, some wise person is saying it. Maybe that could be true because he has experience and you have that Shraddha in him. These are all the pramanas. But he was just saying that when we want to learn about Brahman, all these things don't work. It's because not an object of perception, and not object of inference, not a comparison, and nobody can say in how do cause and effect relationship also don't work. So then what is it then? How do we get it? So because it is our own self and all that, so he's saying that reveal himself to me, and of course they have the path, and we have already done that path, but we will do it again. And the other one is Vedasma Anistha. Then it comes that what I was telling you. What is saying that these words mean, may the theme of the Vedas I am able to understand. First is telling Brahman, please reveal thyself to me, and then from my end I should understand it. That's what the prayer is. Okay. And then he was just saying that when I say, how do I understand it? So, just in a nutshell, there are 4 Mahavakyas, right? So he just revised those Mahavakyas because that's what it is. And also the method over there is mentioned as, we talked about it many times, Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasan. That's what it is, That's what is required. And Shrutam me ma prahasi, that part is, may this knowledge don't forsake me. First he demanded, Brahman, reveal thyself to me. Then he said that may I master the Vedas. After mastering, it should stay with me. Because usually प्रवचन में कुछ सुन के बहुत अच्छा है घर में जाएंगे सब भूल जाएंगे क्या बोला. So he's saying it should stay with me. That's what he's asking. And then in Upanishads he mentioned about Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan. We kind of talked about it, what it is. That it's a little bit interesting about Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan. Shravanam is listening, but listening with understanding. यानी कि ऐमें लिखना शुरू कर दिया. Mananam is removing all your doubts. And that Nididhyasan is a very interesting word. They don't call it Shravanam, Mananam and Dhyan. They don't call it. Right? Why do they call it Nididhyasan? वो ध्यो से आता है, means to think about it. Ni means very nicely think about it, but stay with that thinking for a long time. That's what that whole word Nididhyasan means. That after listening and understanding, removing all your doubts and then meditating upon it. That's what is Nididhyasan. So that's why it is very, very important the way they say it, that how to the Brahman will reveal itself and all that. So you have to follow this.
Maji, wouldn't you call that Gyan and Vigyan in that sense when you say wisdom, that it becomes a part of me?
Yeah, it's a process. You're right.
Is it?
Yeah,
because once I'm listening, I got it from the book, okay, and my doubts are cleared. Now it has become me, or part of me, so
Right.
that I behave that way.
Right.
I act and interact that way. I mean, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But doing this continuously, these 3 things, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan, it gets more and more established, and get more and more stronger, So, sure. I mean, you can say it that way. Yeah, absolutely. So उन्होंने हिंदी में बोला निश्चय के साथ किया हुआ ध्यान निधिध्यासन है. निधिध्यासन में कोई डाउट नहीं रह जाता है फिर. When the pure nididhyasana comes in your life, then that's what it is. After total conviction, that's what it is. That's why they called it nididhyasana rather than just dhyan, because there's a little more deeper import of it. And then it said, anena dhi tena ratranan. What is the word? Anena aditena ahoratranan, days and night. May I spend day and night studying whatever I have heard, the scriptures or Upanishad. So it doesn't mean, don't take it literally. कि सारा time, Gita or Upanishad leke बैठो सारा काम धाम. No, that's not what he's saying. That should be on your mind a lot. Anytime we are passionate about something, somewhere in the back of our mind it's there. And then Swamiji used to say in Chinmaya Mission, and Meena ji and Sushil ji will know this, is saying that spirituality is not Sunday couple of hours or going to the church or going to the mandir, No. You have to, whatever you learned there, you got rest of the time you practice it. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen. It's a 24/7 thing. It's just like a new baby is born, the mother has to be vigilant 24/7. Even in her sleep, some kind of sense is there. When my baby wakes up, I have to wake up, something like that. You have to be, it's not the right word, but obsessed with it in some ways. You know what I mean. And then and this is where he talked about the Mahavakyas. He's saying that, okay, what that's why these people, the saints and sages, उन्होंने वो 4 sentences में डाल दिया सारा. Aham brahmasmi, tattvamasi, ayam atma brahma, pragnanam brahma. 4. So we have done some Upanishads already which has all that. I think Ayam Atma Brahma was in Mandukya, and what was in Tattvamasi was, I think, in the previous one. And then Pragnanam Brahma is going to be in this one. Means consciousness is Brahman. So here, when you say Aham Brahmasmi, Aham and Asmi both are same thing. Our Atma and that Brahman is the same, but it takes a while. Those are the things that you have to kind of, that gap that exists in our mind right now, that has to kind of shorten about this. That's what it is. So through contemplation and all that, this can happen. And then the Shrutam Vadishyami, Ritam Vadishyami and Satyam Vadishyami comes. And we had gone much in detail previously. Ritam is what exactly the Vedas are saying, the Upanishads are saying, all the scriptures are saying. And it has a much bigger scope. Understanding that deeply, and some people explain it like a cosmic order and harmony. So many things come under Ritam. It's like a deep understanding of what they are saying. That's called Ritam. And then another aspect of Ritam is that this Ritam applies to the speaker also, the person who is teaching, the students over there, because he has to speak what the Upanishads are saying or Vedas are saying, and what the principles are, not make their own principles. That's what he was saying. So that's where the Ritam comes in. And Satyam is what we do with our senses and organs of action. That's Satyam. So all the knowledge that we get inside is Ritam, and when it expresses through us, it's called Satyam. Technical thing I'm talking about. Ritam Vadishyami, Satyam Vadishyami, what it means. That's why they say, you should speak the truth, because it's an organ of action. It should come out, and then you have a conviction inside, and then you're speaking that. That's called truth. That's how it is. And then obviously the last part, Avatu Mam, Avatu Vaktaram. So it's like, may that Supreme protect me. Because Swamiji in his commentary is going to say, सभी ने इतनी मेहनत की है तो वो डिमांड करेगा मुझे प्रोटेक्ट करो. It's like हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, हमने टैक्स भरा है तो we need a proper police. We need proper army. Nobody should invade. That's what it is. Demanding that, Bhagwan, please protect me because I have done all these things. And then protect the speaker. And they repeated, because that's very important for him right now before he takes up the studies. And protect the speaker 2 बार बोला उन्होंने. तो स्पीकर ही भाग जाएगा तो फिर वो कुछ पढ़ ही नहीं पाएंगे, इसके लिए स्पीकर को 2 बार बोला. So that's the prayer. Lot of masala in it, right? Simple looking one, but any question, comment?
Isn't it saying protect the teacher twice?
Yeah.
Saying protect the teacher.
Last में
Not
teacher को.
protect me. Not protect me, but protect me, of course, but protect the teacher.
That's why I'm saying teacher को twice क्यों बोला उन्होंने? Because to that student, teacher is very important. अगर हम लोग क्लास में गए और टीचर ही नहीं आया, बीमार हो गया, कुछ हो गया, तो हम लोग पढ़ेंगे क्या फिर? इसके लिए, क्योंकि अगर टीचर आ गया तो फिर किसी और, अगर समझो मैं बीमार, I'm just saying, suppose if I get sick, but the teacher has come to the class, I can learn from another student who has attended the class. Suppose if I get sick, I can still learn. But if a teacher ही बीमार हो गया, टीचर ही नहीं आया, तो फिर वो पूरा क्लास सफर करेगा. I mean, कितना लॉजिक, क्या क्या सोचा है इन लोगों ने यार, टीचर को 2 बार प्रोटेक्ट करने को बोला. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Okay, who would like to read? Between Sushil ji and me, it's a long one, so you can even take turns.
I can read.
Okay, go ahead, Sushil ji. Any question anybody has? Everybody okay?
Peace invocation. Om, may my speech be rooted in my mind. May my mind be rooted in my speech. Brahman, reveal thyself to me. O mind and speech, enable me to grasp the truth that the Vedas teach. Let not what I have heard forsake. Let me continuously live my days and nights in my studies. I think truth, I speak truth. May that truth protect me. May that protect the teacher, protect me, protect the teacher, protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace. Before the actual study of the Upanishads was undertaken, the students used to assemble for the purpose at the feet of the master and used to chant all along with the teacher a chorus song addressed to the truth, invoking the grace of the Supreme, so that there may be continuous unison established between the teacher and the taught throughout the study session.
So we saw that this is, sorry, go ahead.
This vividly shows that the Aryan rishis, even in the hermitages near the Ganga banks, while initiating the students into the secrets of pure truth of Advaita, were not against the principle of bhakti or the practice of prayer. The idea that prayer through surrender and love at the Supreme is against the canons of Vedanta is a clamor of very recent origin propounded by shameless demagogues who are erudite scholars, no doubt, but not sincere seekers or realized men of perfection.
I have a feeling that a lot of people, when Swamiji started teaching Vedanta, they were very much against it or something, because some people look at Vedanta as some kind of dry philosophy where there is no bhakti in it. Something, like that. Oh, bhakti wale ekdam usko cut kar dete. Some of them, not everybody, I'm not saying that. But maybe there's a group of people who may be doing that, oh, there is no rasa in this, there is no prayer in this. But he's saying that the prayer was the beginning, for God's sake. But they had a very kind of different kind of prayer. Look at this. I mean, when we do prayer, हम लोग को कभी नहीं सिखाया है ये सब. ऐसे बोलो. Think, but here there is like a desire to become one with that Brahman. That's the kind of prayer they are doing. And we had discussed it, that you are asking God, who is capable of everything. You are asking him the highest thing in this. That, hey, make my speech and mind in such a way that I merge with you. If you think about it, that's what it's telling you, right? Brahman revealed myself to me and things like that. So that's what Swamiji is just saying, that Vedanta is not against prayers, it's part of it.
Though the rishis had recognized the efficacy of prayer as a technique of self-development, they did not conceive the ugly practices of prayer which are now accepted routine in our temples and other houses of God, indulged in the name of bhakti. What we saw, what we are now witnessing, is a miserable travesty of the truth of scriptures, mishandled and distorted by self-seeking commentators and scheming intellects who have their own low purpose and plans to lure the ignorant but credulous public. Indeed, the cheap practices of bribing God is a corruption of the science of religion, which can bless none but the temple institutions and their trustees, and can bring, alas, only a positive destruction of the very moral integrity of the devotees.
I think we all must have experienced this, what he's talking about. Sometimes you go in the mandir and वो लोग पीछे पड़ जाते हैं, ये पूजा करो, इसका इतने पैसे लगेंगे, ये है वो है, और तुम्हारा ये भला हो जाएगा, वो भला हो जाएगा. Just made a complete mess. So I think we have to be intelligent and do it and not come under blackmail. जैसे बोलते हैं ना, they start blackmailing you and all that. And obviously Swamiji is also disgusted with all that. So we already know. Yeah.
Rare and subtle adjustments in our mind by which it gets tuned up to the higher inspirations of the divine through an intelligent self-surrender practiced through thrilling devotion or intellectualism constitute the enduring technique of prayer. There is, in true prayer, no attempt on the part of the devotee to coax or force, to persuade or to compel, to purchase or to canvass the stream for His grace. In scripture textbooks we find but a peaceful and dignified self-approximation of the devotee towards the absolute concept of eternal and the divine. And this is considered as true prayer.
So he's just telling you that this prayer tells you what a true prayer should be, peaceful and dignified self-approximation of the devotee towards absolute. You are trying to go as near as possible to that God rather than, trying to bribe or coax or force or compel. Those asuras used to do. Compel. जाके वो कुछ क्या बोलते तपस्या करना शुरू कर देंगे किसी पहाड़ी के ऊपर. जैसे कोई बच्चा जिद करके बैठ गया, give me this, otherwise I'm going to भूख हड़ताल करूंगा मैं. I will not eat. And में फिर जा ले ले. No, you don't need to do that. That's what they are trying to say. Through this prayer is through thrilling devotion and scintillating intellectualism. Finally, I can say constitute. So, unka devotion is there in their heart, and they are understanding the whole concept and then praying. That's what it's saying. So important.
This peace invocation is typical of intellectual integrity of the age of the Upanishads. When the students knew the deeper psychology of right living and high thinking, and we find that in this short chorus song, a wealth of practical psychology hinted at in simple, quick strokes.
So, these students are very intelligent students. They understand the psychology and what is right living, right thinking, and they're praying for it. Even if I have some weaknesses and all that, God help me. May my mind be established in my speech in my mind, all those things. And we know there are so many stories about that. This mother goes to a some kind of wise person and says my child eats too much sweet and and all that, and he say, okay, ek hafte ke baad aana, because he doesn't want to eat sweet, and then tell the child don't eat it if he's eating the sweet, because so that's what it is. Whatever you are, you have to be true to yourself, and they are asking for those kind of things, because that's what is going to give them progress.
The opening line is a prayer unto the Supreme, coming from the heart of a seeker who cries for divine grace, so that he may come to live easily with his words, faithfully wedded to his mind. Also, he wants his mind always to be truly and fully expressed in the fragrance of his words. Unless we are ready to express what we sincerely feel, we will be untrue to ourselves. The path that leads to the flowery gardens of truth is not paved with untruths. Darkness, however intense it may be, cannot produce light.
Very nice thing. Darkness, however intense it may be, cannot produce light. So if you are untruth paved with untruth, means what your personality is not integrated, you will never be able to progress. And I was thinking of one scenario. इंडिया में जैसे हमारे वो फाइनल एग्जाम्स होते थे ना, समझो हमने कोई पढ़ाई वढ़ाई की नहीं, एंड देन वी गो से एक नारियल फोड़ के, भगवान मुझे फर्स्ट क्लास दे देना, make me a valedictorian. It will not happen. If you want to pray, then pray a couple of months before. Hey, God, give me strength, I study properly. है कि नहीं? Day and night I study, I understand my subject, and if you go with all that, if Bhagwan gives you the capacity, you will become a valedictorian, or something nice will happen to you. That's what it is. That Bhagwan is not a fool that you're going to bribe him. Kuch kiya dhara hai nahi, and then I want this. Not going to happen. So that they understood all those things,
Again, all the great masters of the world have constantly advised seekers to maintain a perfect consistency between their thoughts and expressions. If this is not practiced properly, the student will never be able to express his spiritual doubts correctly and precisely to the teacher. Moreover, if an individual lives a life of disintegration in which his words express something different from what his mind declares, there will be dangerous shattering in his inner personality. A cracked instrument cannot bring forth its full music when the strings are played upon by the flying fingers of inspiration of any artist.
Such a beautiful example he gave, no? that how this, I just saw that Amjad Ali Khan's performance. Oh my God, it was so amazing. Sarod playing, or beach mein wo his two sons also play amazing. And while they were playing, one of the guys' string broke. He had to, right there and on the stage, he fixed it. While others were playing. It's amazing. So you need everything in harmony for the nice music to come out. So that's what he's saying, that this is what is why integrated personality is so important. And then another very important thing that we don't think about, that if you don't have an integrated personality, at least to a certain extent, the person will not be able to clear his doubt, because he won't be able to ask proper question. Whatever in his mind, that has to come out. So even people who can express themselves because they have a better integrated personality, your speech also becomes more clear to the other person and all that. So this is a very important part of spirituality, is to integrate the personality.
In many of passages of Upanishads, we detect such simple strokes which portend the volume of true knowledge of psychology that was available to the rishis in those days. Compared with this wealth of knowledge that was popular then, the modern textbooks of psychology are elementary and imperfect to the core. The Vedika students and teachers seem to have fully realized that through long practices in self-inconsistencies, we develop a forked personality, each fact neutralizing and cancelling the efficiency of the other. Therefore, They prayed for inner strength to live every moment of their life in healthy harmony between their mental waves and verbal expressions.
So I think Swamiji really want us to think about this, and what are the dangers of it. यहाँ पर एक वो disorder बोलते हैं ना, क्या बोलते हैं, personality, multiple personality disorder. This person has like so many different, it is a completely disintegrated. It becomes like a clinical condition almost. So opposite spectrum of it is that it is so integrated, it's a smooth. And then you have that saying, no, that it is very easy to live a life when you tell the truth. It might be difficult, but it is relatively easy because एक बार सच बोल दिया, you don't have to worry about anything. अगर झूठ बोला ना, उसको कवर करने के लिए 100 झूठ और बोलने पड़ेंगे, है कि नहीं? So कितना नुकसान होता है. So that's what the integrated personality they are trying to say, that is a must. And then I always felt that after reading Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads and other scriptural things from the East, that they had a amazing understanding of mind, intellect, and all those things. The modern psychologists, sometimes they lack that depth, whatever they study in the school, college, and all that. And sometimes they're not able to help those people because they are not able to change their mind, to just work on the surface. So that's why probably the mental health in the world is becoming so bad these days, because there's not good help available. Maybe all these people, psychologists and psychiatrists, should read the Bhagavad Gita. They might be able to help their students more. I don't know.
Brahman, reveal thyself to me. Students who have got themselves established in a healthy way of living gain the necessary qualifications in their head and heart, and they can start the study of scriptures at the feet of the master. Naturally, the students demand the supreme goal to reveal itself to them. The self-confidence that arises out of living a divine life can give us a love right to demand even the highest fruit directly from the spring.
So same, we discussed that because they have worked all this hard and all that, and they feel they are qualified now, genuinely qualified. And it's next paragraph, whatever Swamiji says, it will explain it, more. Yeah.
When we have tuned our radio receiving set in our drawing room, confident that we have tuned it properly, we can, in our expectations, demand to hear clearly the program relayed by the broadcasting station to which we have tuned our instrument. Similarly, when the student has thus lived in grosser honesty, a consistency between thought and speech, he comes to feel that Brahman must reveal to him, since it is his birthright to realize the infinite and the eternal.
Quite a self-confidence, no? When he says that Brahman, reveal thyself to me. He's saying, I'm ready. From my side, I have done whatever was required.
In the Hindu scriptures, Brahman is the term that indicates the supreme reality, which is all-pervading, whose manifestations are the entire world of the living, the eternal substratum, changeless and infinite, the source of all activity and knowledge. Atman is a term used to indicate the touch of life in the seeker, which is available for his direct realization. At the moment of experiencing the Atman, the individual experiences at once the non-dual Brahman. The outer infinite space is no way different from and is certainly one with the cup space.
So he's just explaining that whole concept that we have already kind of learned, but we're revising it over here, that Brahman indicate the supreme reality, all pervading, But within us, we have this touch of life, which is called Atman or the self. I think in English they call it with the capital S. The self is the same as Atman. That's where we can realize that Brahman. And he's just reminding us that once you realize that Brahman, once you realize the Atman, you will realize the Brahman, because the space is the same. Once you understand what the space is, whether the space is here or billions of miles away, it's the same, it's one. That's this peace invocation is not only giving us a prayer, but revising all the things that we have learned, so that when we go into Upanishad part, it'll help us if we know all the concepts already.
The students and the teacher assemble together to teach and learn the scriptural declarations given out by the rishis of old. Unlike other textbooks, scriptures can best be understood and fully reacted to only when they are delivered by a man of experience and purity, of sincerity and fire. Therefore, the disciples at the feet of the Master renounce all other activities and bring all their sense organs to a single pointedness. The only instruments that are brought to function diligently in the study of Vedanta are the sense of hearing to listen to words spoken by the teacher and the mind of the student. The words of the Master must convey the shock of a spiritual charge when these words rising from his bosom and reveling in the infinite experience enter through the ears of the student. They reach the vigilant but peaceful alert. They reach the vigilant but powerful, alert but passionless, dynamic but not restless minds of the disciples. They can then create the listener's mind exact waves of experiences as the Master feels during his discourse. This idea is very well brought out in the passage now under discussion.
So basically they are talking about the same Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. Shravanam part they are talking about it. That when can we understand the scriptures coming from a master, but then we have to hear it. The most important faculty that we have is to listen and understand. And then, but from the student side, there has to be mind ready to receive it, and then it will happen. Like it's saying, no, that master renounces all, therefore the disciple at the feet of the master renounces all other activity and bring to a single point and all their sense organs. ही इज फुल्ली रेयर. कभी कभी को बोलते हैं ना क्लासरूम में तुम्हारा ध्यान कहाँ है, बैठे यहाँ हो, सोच कुछ और रहे हो. You can't do that. You have to bring yourself completely. And the only instrument that are brought is for the study of Vedanta is sense of hearing, to listen to the words spoken by the teacher and the mind of the student. So basically he's saying once that words enter his mind, then it creates, Swamiji is in his own very dramatic language, must convey the shock of a spiritual charge. कोई चीज सुनी तुमने, oh wow. कभी कभी अपने साथ ऐसा होता है ना, when you hear some story or something and you're just completely like different inside because now you heard that. So rising from the bosom of and revealing the infinite experience. The master is talking about his own experience, telling in words. And if that instrument of speaking is very good, which the master has, and the ears of this person has to be very, ear meaning what? Capacity to hear it and absorb is good, then something will happen. And how is his mind? Vigilant and peaceful, not restless, passionless, dynamic, but not restless. Means, दुनिया की चीज़ें छोड़ के, जैसे वो अपने, even for the worldly stuff, we have to put our attention at something if we want to be good at it. Even when we learn something new, we have to give attention to it. Same thing applies over there, a little bit more strength.
The student, addressing the deities of speech and mind, requests them to enable him to grasp the truth that the Vedas declare. Let what I have heard slip not from me. Vedanta being a complete and perfect science of living, each day's lesson has a direct bearing upon the arguments and explanations that the teacher will be giving the following day. The continuity of study can be fruitfully maintained only when the student has not only a capacity for quick grasping, but also a diligent memory in which what has been grasped once is distinctly preserved as the carvings on granite pillars. This capacity, generally termed in Sanskrit as Medha Shakti, is an important item in the inner wealth of truth seeker on the path of knowledge.
So Swamiji is explaining this part where he said, let not what I have heard forsake me. ऐसा नहीं कि एक कान से सुना दूसरे कान से निकाल दिया. हिंदी में कहावत है ना कि कुछ अंदर नहीं गया. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. He's praying that whatever I'm taught, I remember it. And I think Bhagavad Gita also, chapter by chapter, when we go, if we forget what we have learned, it won't make any sense when we go further, right? Whatever you have learned, you have to remember, you have to understand, then you can build on it. That's what he's trying to say, that in the continuity of study, fruitfully maintained, the student has to capacity for quick grasping and diligent memory. All those two things. Medha Shakti. We have heard of this word Medha Shakti. That is needed, And then Swamiji is very dramatic about when he says, it should be preserved as a carving under granite pillars. कि निकले ही नहीं, वो दिमाग में छप जाए अच्छे से. And I think it seems that when he went to Tapovan Maharaj to study, 7 years he was with his master who was learning Vedanta from him. Tapovan Maharaj told him, I'm going to tell you once. If you don't remember, you have to leave. I can't teach you. मतलब इतने strict थे उनके ऊपर, बड़ा ध्यान से सुनना पड़ता है, right? And then the other story is the Mahabharata, that Ved Vyas, the story is in Puranas that Ganesh ji was writing. And so the story goes that when Ganesh ji को उन्होंने बोला, और Ganesh बोला, okay, I will write. So उन्होंने कहा कि गणेश ने बोला कंटिन्यूसली लिखूंगा मैं, फटाफट बोलो. तो उन्होंने बोला एक शर्त पे, whatever I tell you, you have to understand it fully. So then it seems that sometimes Ganesh ji, to understand it, he would pause. I have to understand. उनको थोड़ा break मिल जाता था. Basically trying to say whatever you study and all, you should fully understand. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. Anyway, so we'll stop here. Any question or comment about this prayer? It is pretty remarkable, isn't it? That it's just, on one hand, it's just like a quarter of a page prayer, but so much is there in it. To understand so much. Okay, if no question, no comment, then we can stop and we will continue next time. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next time. Hope there are some people traveling. They might be back next time. Okay. See you.
Okay, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Yeah.